What can you do about it if your child is stuck in another state with their other parent and that state's got a shelter in place or a stay-at-home order and you're missing your co-parenting time? I bet that's infuriating. It has to be, because my name's Patrick Slaughter. I'm a lawyer with LaFevor and Slaughter. Our phones are ringing off the hook with just that kind of situation. I have a client, to protect his privacy, we're going to call him Joe. Joe called my office, and he's a very involved parent. Joe goes to all of his son's events. Joe pays his child support on time. Joe is very interactive with his child, loves his child very much. And his child was spending spring break with his mother in a state that has a lockdown order in the Northeast. And the mother decided not to return the child to Joe at the time that there was a scheduled exchange, according to the parenting plan that was in place. Joe's devastated. He's missing time. He didn't get to take his kid to play baseball. I guess baseball season was getting ready to start. I'm not a baseball fan, excuse me. He was upset that he wasn't getting to see his child like he normally gets to see his child. He didn't know what to do. And, he was pretty darn mad, and I can understand why. So when he called me, we talked about it, and I said, well, here's the first thing that you need to do in all situations like this where there's a conflict between two parents. The first thing that you need to do is step back emotionally, calm down, and always try to put what's best for your child first. Always try to look, for a solution that will be best for your child, even if it's not best for you. And after I talked to Joe for a while, we decided that, we really didn't want this child to have to travel through this state where there was all kinds of COVID-19 cases. We also looked and realized that Joe works a lot still, even though he's, we have this stay-at-home order in Tennessee right now. He works in an essential business and he still has to work, which requires him to be exposed to people more so than the mother who lives in the Northeast. So we thought about it. Joe finally realized, I don't like it, but my son is probably better off where he's staying than he is with me right now. Now that was tough. That is not an easy thing to do, but Joe realized it. So now what do you do? Well, Joe communicated with his ex and it agreed that the child could stay where the child was, but just said, hey, this really hurts me because I want to spend this time with my child. What can we do to make up these days? Will you agree to make up some of these days with me? And to his surprise, she agreed. She said, well, hey, let's just take it off of the summer vacation and you'll get to make it up that way. And let's just see where we're at the end of this and we'll try to figure it out. She said, let's work this out between ourselves. Let's not get lawyers involved because then we're just going to spend a whole lot of money and get real upset and we can just figure it out ourselves. And I believe Joe and his child's mother will be able to do that. Now, I have other clients that I've given the same advice to, and they've reached out and they've tried to speak with the other parent, and they didn't get anywhere. And they were darn tootin' mad. And they came back to me and they wanted to give the other parent a piece of their mind. And I reminded them of what my great-grandmother had always said, which was, you don't have to participate in every fight to which you're invited. And you may want to dance like nobody's looking, but you better text and email like it's going to be read out loud by a judge in an open courtroom. So I encouraged one of our clients who was having these difficulties to speak with the other parent and send some kind of very ingratiating email about, hey, I understand and I know you're trying to do the best you can for our child, but I'm missing these days and I really want to deal with how I'm going to get these days made up. Well, the other side's not responding and she's not going to agree to anything. So instead, we are going to file an action in court and ask the judge to allow us to make up that time. Now, also, depending on how this goes, we may file an action to modify the parenting plan to indicate that this has been a material change in circumstances for which the mother has not contributed to or encouraged a relationship between my client and his child. That's a big potential action and a big loss where both parties may look at having to spend a whole lot of money with lawyers. And let's face it, nobody really wants to do that. And I think most of it could have been avoided if people could have just been reasonable and, like I said, put their child first. So if you're in a situation like that, like I said, also communicate kindly, ask for some kind of remedy. If that doesn't work, then you have to decide, how much time, effort, and energy you want to spend to rectify the situation. If it's something you want to pursue, then you probably do need to find an attorney. Don't try to do it on your own, and check to see how you go about doing that. Now again, if you're in a situation you're not really sure what to do, if you're looking at your facts and go, is there maybe a solution that I haven't seen here? I'm happy to talk with you. You can book a call and we can sit down and look at your situation. I'll give you my honest opinion about what you might be able to do, or maybe some solutions you haven't exactly thought about yet. Just because I'm seeing a lot of these kinds of cases, there might be something that comes to my mind that you hadn't thought about. Anything I can do to help you if you are pursuing legal action, I can talk to you about that. And if I'm not the attorney for you and I'm not for everybody, I'm happy to point you in some other direction. But don't sit around and ruminate and awfulize and make yourself miserable. There are solutions to this. They can be found. Regardless, always put your child's interest first. Do what's best for your child. And you're going to get through this, and we're going to figure out what to do on the other side. Just hang in there. Good luck.